Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the latest narration of the web series The Burning Ones. If you're new to the series, there is a playlist listed down below in the description. And as always, I hope that you enjoy. Chapter 17, A Favorable Reference. I was looking for Mark Tara when I heard raised voices around the corner. I stopped and cautiously looked around the edge. You and your goons cannot keep the child locked up in there, Allison shouted and tried to push past Mark. Shadow did nothing. He stood at a distance, disinterested. Ghost also remained motionless. I swear your superiors are going to hear about this when I get planetside. Fascists. Miss Miller, Mark said calmly. I guess he had dealt with emotional humans before. I appreciate your concerns about the child. By the way, CV has identified the boy from a passenger manifest found on the derelict transport. His name is Lorenzo. He is from Earth. An attempt is presently being made by the government to locate any living relatives. I considered venturing further, but Allison was still shouting, Why are you holding him prisoner? He's a child. He is very dangerous, Mark said. I assure you. Lorenzo is well cared for. He is isolated for everyone's safety, as well as his own. Right. I'm sure he's dangerous. Dangerous threat to you big tough soldiers. Allison rolled her eyes, crossed her arms, and leaned back on her left hip. The next thing you're going to say is that he's a Draconid, and then use him as some secret military experiments or something. I've read all about your top-secret lies in the darknet forums. We know. Mark smiled. I will happily show you a live feed of his room. He activated control in his wrists and his fan brace and projected an image onto the corridor wall. Lorenzo was sitting cross-legged on the floor, playing with a toy ball. Do you realize, Addison scolded, how bored the kid must be to roll a ball into a wall and back again, over and over? I shivered. My skin crawled. The boy was not playing ball with the wall. He was playing catch with the corrupted Guardian. The boy pushed the ball forwards. The Guardian touched it, and then it glided back towards the boy. Lorenzo was given numerous items to play with, Mark explained, and cut the video feed. He also has books and a vid screen. The ball is the only toy that he has interest in. If there is something you would like to donate, or perhaps a story you would like to tell, I'd be happy to pass it along. Many of your crewmates have taken part in the initiative to connect with Lorenzo. Doc Fulton gave Lorenzo a virtual tour of the labs and sent pictures and specimens. Others record bedtime stories from their cultures. They describe their home planets and the animals that live on them, things like that. It really is quite wonderful. I enjoy them as well. Why didn't anyone tell me? Allison pouted. Miss Miller, Mark pointed at Allison. It was the first aggressive gesture that he'd made through the entire argument. You didn't ask. Lorenzo watches the videos intently. He hasn't spoken with anyone yet. My people are trying, but he seems to connect to the videos, and we are taking this as a positive sign. Perhaps hearing the story from you might remind him of his home. Fine, Allison said, defeated, but still prideful. I'll do that, but leaving him alone all day every day is wrong. I personally check on Lorenzo every hour. Not on the camera, Mark said compassionately. I walk down there and physically enter his room. He appears to have gained several kilos now that he is receiving regular meals. When he's in a temperate mood, my team also attempts to spend time with him. He becomes agitated very easily. We are trying to avoid having to sedate him long term. Good, Addison huffed. I suppose she felt that she won some sort of victory here, though I'm not sure what. I'm not okay to drug a 9-year-old. I assure you, we only sedate him if he's about to hurt himself or set something on fire again. Ah, Allison growled and clenched her fists. There is no such thing as Draconids. He's set off a grenade. She kicked Mark in the shin and stormed off, then shouted back over the corridor, He's not a damn firebender. Chief, Mark called out, I saw you lurking back there. You gonna come out? Sorry, I said meekly and made my way down the corridor. Mark raised his hand and smiled slightly. Avoiding the raging ginger. Believe me, it's okay. Humans do it too. Why? I asked. Oh, they have no souls. Best to let them go putter out in their own and try to calm them. They just get angrier. Your hair color determines whether you have a soul? I asked, mortified. What? Mark blinked, halting, confused for a moment. Oh, no, sorry, that was a joke. Gingers. They are not soulless. No, Mark laughed. But I'm Irish, believe me. I know when it's best to let a redhead burn out, especially when it's a woman. These redheads, like Addison, they hail from your Irish land? Aye. A lot of them do, or did, originally, but we've got all sorts in Ireland. Never was much for redhead lasses. Too much trouble. Anyway, I was going to come and find you, but you're here now. Mark opened the door behind him and exited the hallway. Come into my office and pull it to. Pull what where? I asked as I stepped into the room where Mark and his men were billeting. The door, Mark pointed. Close it. This is classified. I closed the door behind me and asked, What is? Mark lifted a bright green orthorent teapot and poured 2 cups. Cup of tea? That would kill me, I said, refusing the cup full of caffeine. Is it your government secret, assassination by tea? Some humans, Mark sipped on his cup and continued holding mine out, would say that's a good way to go. Traded my watch for this, well, no way I can close to pronouncing where it's from, but once I figure out what all the buttons do, it makes a nice cuppa. Mark offered the teacup again. It's herbal, no caffeine at all. I checked with the doc. Give it a lash. I cautiously accepted the tea and wished I had Corvid with me. He would be able to warn me if the substance contained any toxins. Still, it would be impractical to dispose of a body from this deep within a ship. I would never have assassinated someone so far from a visible exit and a disposal site. So I carefully ingested the tea, partly because it was hot and partly because I still hadn't mastered drinking by pouring from small cups intended for humans. The aroma was rich and floral, and the flavor, albeit quite foreign, was not unlikable. Mark was satisfied with his hospitality ritual and offered me a chair at his table. Higher-ups didn't believe me when I said that I met a species who could see the stuff some of our augments could see. Didn't want me talking to you or anything. However, in the spirit of Hitler invading hell, I convinced them that their threat or not, you want the same thing we do. I scoffed and sat back in my chair. What do I want? You want to know what happened to your owls. I want to know what happened to my civilians. Our interests are aligned. All right. I put my hands out on the table, but I don't have much to share. We couldn't salvage anything from the wreck where the L team was found. It was burnt out. Right. Mark unfolded a computer and turned the screen to me. Breaker and Don went out to locate the missing human transport, which was pinged a relay near here before all comms went dark last month. Ghost tensed behind Mark. I tensed. They matched Lorenzo's picture to his ident file in the manifest. This footage was recovered. End of chapter. I'd quickly like to thank the T5 peeps. Cold War Boomerwaffen, Sevaren Serberous, Bushmaster 177, Henry the Red, Casper Arnholtz, Cold War Boomerwaffen, Elijah Silvercross, Dragzoon W.R.E, and Sevaren Serberous. Thank you very much.